I just would like to thank our panelists. As you know, it takes a lot for everyone to get here, and thank you so much. Heather Altman, unfortunately, is very, very ill tonight. So lovingly and graciously, Jennifer Berman stepped in. We are so grateful to have you. She is the woman with $1 trillion database. That's what they say. Yeah. And she also is going to be on this new show called Listing Impossible. She's going to have her picture up on Sunset, right? Yes. So get lots of pictures with her today because January 2020, she is the woman to know, not now and then. And also, you're just such a genuine, kind human. You guys don't know her personally, but she really, today when Heather was sick, she just said, you know what, I'm going to cancel everything and I'm going to be there. So let's give her a round of applause. First of all, you are.
Anything for you, Louisa. Anything for you.
Thank you. So I'm going to let you introduce Beth Fagan is the class action lawyer for the Weinstein case. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself. You just started your company. So.
Yep, just founded my own firm, Fagan Scott. We opened up in May, but I've been a lawyer for 25 years, and Harvey Weinstein's probably our most notable defendant.
And that is how we know each other, since I'm the lead of the class action. But we're so honored to have her. She flew all the way in from Chicago. So, yes. Alexander, I've actually known you for many, many years, but tell us about your show. You guys already probably know him from Love and Listings, but why don't you tell us?
Is this on? Hello?
It is.
You're
on.
Can you hear me? Alexander Renew. I'm at Douglas Elliman in Beverly Hills. Specialize in Beverly Hills, Sunset Strip. Grew up in Orange County, so I know all the good areas, all the prime areas from Orange County to LA. That's really my bread and butter. And I recently started a show, Love and Listings. It's on VH1. Went through the first season, got renewed, so that's a plus. Currently filming second season, and we're real excited about it. So we'll talk more about that.
No? We want to hear a little bit more about you. Why don't you tell us? She has such a long resume.
I've hired like half the people in the damn city, so I mean, most people know who I am. So, in any event, I'm one of the very first technology speakers in the real estate industry. So I helped IPO a little company that you guys know called Realtor.com, among with some other things. So Agent Image, I knew you guys 20 years ago, man. So there's a lot of companies that I don't know, haven't done. I do TV as well, started off with $1 million listing franchise, hence why when you came on, I was training you at the very beginning too, and I build the big teams. So Aaron Kerman recently came to me and said, I want to build a team. Took him from 4 agents. We went to 60 agents, said I wanted to be on TV. So I got us on TV too, CNBC. So I do a lot of the production behind the scenes, consult for a lot of the production companies in Hollywood on anything real estate related, and been a very well-known speaker internationally. So I have a company in China for about 8 years now. So that's why I have the $1 trillion database, and then I'm the Inman News host and speaker since about '97. So Luxury Connect, you guys know what that is?
Yes.
Does anybody know what Luxury Connect is? Okay, so that was my brainchild. I brought that here. Okay, so thank you for sponsoring us. So Brad Inman's one of my best friends, so that's we had that thing, and Josh and I were going to take it all over the country, but we just kept it in Beverly Hills because the first time that we did it, you'll remember this with Rick Hilton, we were doing it at a house, and we had people flying in from all over the world, and a week before Rick Hilton calls me and says, Jen, you can't do it at Lionsgate. I said, what do you mean I can't do it at Lionsgate? Steve Wynn, he wants to buy it. He doesn't want you guys there. I said, call your buddy Wolfgang Puck, because we got all these people coming in, and we're doing it. So that's why we never do it at a house anymore. That's why we do it at the hotel now. Back row.
See, things you're learning. And Angel Horacek, so we met at a women's executive group. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, just like 10 minutes ago, I do plaintiff side employment work representing workers and independent contractors in disputes or maybe not yet disputes with the people that they are working for and possibly working with. I've been practicing for about 13 years and I'm in Culver City. So that's a little bit about me. It's just
you own your own company.
I have my own firm, right? So
you got a lot of girl bosses on you.
yeah, no, it's nice unless you work for me. Maybe it's not so nice. But
I'll represent
That's okay.
them.
Yeah. All right, Glenn Coutinho. You just heard from him, but yes. All right, keep going. Would you like to say anything else, Glenn? I mean, is there anything else to say?
I've just released a book.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I've just finished my book that I've been working on for about a year and a half now. It's just been signed a publishing deal with Balboa right through America. It comes out in 2 weeks. It's on Amazon now. So it's 260 pages, which my daughter had to proofread. Lots of spelling
Oh
mistakes
my
in
gosh.
it. And it's out on Amazon now. So it's actually called The People Lover. And it's a book on real estate, fatherhood, being a good person. Not too churchy. It's pretty good.
Not too true. I love it. All right. So we have some questions that we put together, and then we also have some questions that on social media people were asking. One of the main questions was, for the two of you, first and foremost, as you know, TV is king. So how would you say that Listing Impossible has helped your business? In addition to that, like, how would you say that it's changed you? Because as somebody who used to be an actress, I can understand it's all fun and games until you can't go to the grocery store looking like hell. So I'm sure it changes you as you have to be this famous person now. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, we're not released yet. So,
Yeah.
I years ago when I did HGTV and those things, you go in the bathroom, people like see you and do, that kind of, hey, I know you. So, I mean, you get that. Alexander's going to be a little bit newer on going on that, but now being on the screen instead of behind the screen is definitely different. And, what I do is I help the kids on $1 Million Listing since the franchise first started. And that's why, I've helped them know how to take the money that you get and make it into dollars for yourself once you're on TV. So that's what I'm hired to do. Yeah. So I just haven't had it personally happen for me yet, knock on wood. So we'll do that. So
Well, can you tell what would you say? So you're showing them how to use that money. Like, can you give us an example?
Yeah, for sure. Because the networks don't pay you anything on doing TV unless you're in, season, 5. You start getting into the higher seasons. Then they start paying you. So you're basically trying to pay them when you're going into season 1, season 2. Then you start negotiating and do better. So what you have to do is everything is about branding. And I think all you guys know, we're switching from regular TV, it's going to linear, and then it's going to digital. So everything is changing just like how the music industry changed. That is happening right now with OTT. So right now you have to do everything with branding. So if I wear the Rolex watch, then I have to be paid by Rolex. If I drink the Pepsi, I'm going to be showing the Pepsi. I'm going to drink the Pepsi. So it's the speaking events that you do. It's the gigs that you get outside of that. And then that's why I put most of my kids on TV. You'll see them on Fox News. You'll see them on those things. So then when I do that with the kids, then they get, I'm sorry, I call them the kids.
I know.
They could be 70 years old. I'm
As
still gonna call
kids,
you
she
my
means
kids.
like a 35-year-old.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm calling.
Yeah.
They become your kids after a while. Trust me, it looks all glamorous. I'm like their assistant. Trust me. So, how does this look? What do I wear? FaceTime. My God, get on my social media. I hate this other guy on $1 Million Listing. Do this. Oh, for God's sakes. So all this happens, and so you have to make money. You can't just get on TV to do that. You have to know how do you do social media? How do you become an influencer? How do brands pay you to show their products onto Instagram and those type of things? And then you get the phone calls off of the TV and the news. Right. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I mean, listen, even if you're not on a show, that's what you have to do these days. And I know that well. I used to own a social media company, and I'm always preaching that. It's just, unfortunately, it's not going to go away, and they have to embrace it now. Yeah. So speaking to that, you're on Love and Listings. What would you say about that?
So I did my show for 2 reasons. The first one, as you've already attested to, TV is king. It's free exposure. It helps promote your brand, your business. I've seen the model work firsthand. I've worked with the Altmans. I've seen what it's done for their business. It's a no-brainer if you have the opportunity, and I had the opportunity, so I took it. Number 2, it's a predominantly black cast. I thought it'd be cool if I could put a nice image out for a black professional man in real estate. That'd be pretty neat too, if I can do that as well while promoting myself and making my business grow.
So you're saying the perception. So how have you worked with that? Being on the show, and it's a lot on your shoulders actually to have to represent.
Yeah, TV's a beast. I wasn't prepared for it. It's a huge time suck, especially if you're already in a busy job, busy career, family, kids, wife. I had a full plate already, and then joining the show just took that exponentially higher. and it's only been a year, one season, but I stayed true to me, and that can be really hard to do when you got cameras in your face. But I learned that ratings are greater than authenticity in the TV world, so we'll see if I can pull it off by doing both.
We believe in you. So let's pivot. Glenn, you're an owner of a business, and what would you say, though, speaking of authenticity, that you have to teach your team the most in your actions and what you say? What would you say is the biggest thing you're teaching?
Look, I've got some great partners who know more about real estate in the area than I do, and I've been in it 35, 36 years, but integrity is one of the most important things that we coach. I always believe that you should act like you're being filmed in real estate because it'll come back and haunt you pretty quickly. So, tell the truth and you're safe. I think that's a pretty important thing that I've lived my life by. And also to convince people that it's a full-time gig. You just can't make it in real estate part-time. You can't be, in Australia we say half-assed. It just doesn't work. You have to be 100% committed. And it's a long-term business. Like I just had some clients give me a house to sell in Melbourne that I've been chasing for 33 years. It's a long game. You have to have a long. I've been sending this woman flowers for her wedding anniversary for 33 years in a row. Finally,
better
she
be a
sells her
good
house
house,
with me.
right?
Cost me more in flowers than commission, but anyway, real estate's a long game. If you're in it and out for money, it just will not work.
So can we just touch upon that? Speaking of the flowers, because can you share with this audience? I mean, it's really your special secret, weapon. Will you tell them what you do?
Well, what I like to do is I like to make an amazing first impression on somebody I meet. So I want to get their husband, wife, kid's name, wedding anniversary, date of birth, and then remember it for the rest of their life. Rather than ring up and say, so this guy's just listed a house with me a couple of weeks ago, he's 22. He had a birthday blanket the day he was born with his name on it, and from the age of 1 to 22, he's had a little gift for me for 22 years in a row. Wow. His brother is a real estate agent. He listed his house with me. His brother's really pissed off. But anyway, he couldn't go anywhere else because I like to create a long-term relationship with people that goes on for decades and decades. So, that's I've had another woman that just listed a house with me, and when I went to her house, she opened up her file and there was 33 years of Christmas cards. So it's a long-term business. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how to do anything else. I didn't get educated, so that's all I know. People.
Yeah, people. But I think it makes such a difference. I mean, when I first met with him, he did the same thing. He asked me, "What are your kids' names, etc." And then he did send me flowers. And I'm a gal. My father used to buy my mother flowers my whole life, so it meant a lot to me. And I didn't forget it. So I think you actually taught me, because from that I then took that idea and I parlayed that into my own clients of just treating them extra special. As I think I'm being special, but you are extra special with all the things you do. So.
Well, and look, I think also doing it with strangers. Like, I have actually never been into a restaurant in the last 20 years without writing back to the waiter or the waitress an actual letter to say thank you. And I think that makes a difference to someone else's life. I've never caught a plane without writing thank you to the hostess or the person, and I've had listings back from it. So I prefer to that than chasing business. I wanted to build an attraction business and flowers never fails. Never. In fact, the day I met my wife when we were 18, we've been together 34 years, the day I met her, and she was gorgeous and I was short, fat, Indian and ugly, I thought, right, I'm sending this girl flowers. So I sent her like $400 worth of flowers the same day. Done. We're in.
She's hot, your wife.
Good move.
She is an amazing
She's a
one.
good-looking woman.
Yeah.
So that's just like, she's just another listing. Close. Next.
No! I am so calling her and telling her you just said that.
Is she here? Yeah. Those
No.
flowers that we got for
Bye.
you are going to her. Yeah. Okay. So
Before you move on, stop.
Yeah.
Because you've been on my show. So, guys, if you don't know Louisette and what she does, I need to give you props, because we have to support diversity. And, you've taken the lead charge in doing it with women, and you took an incredible chance in what you did. And it could have gone one way or it could have gone another. And I've watched men come up to you, emotional, that have said, because of you coming out and telling what your story is, this happened to me. Men. And we think about it more as women. But you've impacted so many lives, and I know you've impacted mine. And, I don't know if you guys know that she, adopted, children. And then you and Dave had your babies on your own. And, you are a working mommy. And when you went into this, you did not do this for money. And I just want you as real estate agents to know, you do title, please send her your title business.
Thank you.
Because that's how she feeds the babies and does what you do, and you do all of this for free, and nothing in life is for free.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. I mean, that is true. I mean, I put this group together because in my mind, I want to provide you with the value add. Much like he gives flowers, I'm not allowed to give flowers. I'd get in trouble. So what I can do is put these events together. And in my mind, it's like if we could put good people together and we're all working together, that is the best possible way to work with each other. And she's talking about, since I'm the lead plaintiff against Harvey Weinstein, it was definitely a traumatic thing to have to come forward and talk about that. I had just had a baby 6 weeks previous. It's definitely not what I wanted to do at all, but I was hell-bent on making sure that we create a better world for my children and everyone's children. And by that I mean girls and boys. And with that you actually lead me into introducing and talking about Beth, because Beth is she's our lead lawyer for a class action. Unfortunately, there's many of us, and I say unfortunately because I didn't even know when I came forward about Harvey Weinstein how many women he affected, and men actually, in a different way. He used to throw things at them. But Beth, let's talk about what propelled you really. I mean, this case, I know why I came forward, because I felt like I had to, because Weinstein was saying he was going to sue the New Yorker and the New York Times, and that we were all lying. And I had just had a baby, and hell no, I wasn't going to put up with that. So I put my face on TV with Gloria Allred and did the whole thing, and we got a lot, now what we know as I'm part of the Me Too movement. But I know why I did it. Why did you do it? And why do you continue to support all of us?
Well, first of all, we couldn't do it without Louisette, but there are about 10 women that have come forward in the class action behind her. And we know of about 150 women by either name, date, location, and things that he did. But what's really amazing to me is that he couldn't have gotten away with it for so long if there weren't people around him who knew and did nothing about it. And for me, that's really why I stepped forward to bring the case, was to kind of attack the organization that propped him up and supported him for that long. And I think we've made some good law. A lot of people think about discrimination and sex abuse in the context of employment. Here in LA, it's different. So many people aren't employed by their abusers because of the entertainment industry. And so we've had several judges in New York apply the sex trafficking laws in that context, which really opens up women's rights. So even though it's not a traditional child sex trafficking or prostitution case, I mean, it's really where somebody uses their power and tries to use it over somebody who they can either give a job to or those types of things. So, but it really, at the end of the day, it is about these women, and they've really put everything on the line to come forward. It's not been easy on them. They really get nothing out of it. It's actually, I think, exacerbated their trauma in a lot of ways. But they've been brave, and they are doing it for the next generation.
Well, I've watched this woman go toe-to-toe with a federal court judge, and let me just say, you don't want to mess with her. And so to that point, I mean, where do you see, because I'd like to talk to you, I mean, you obviously deal with some of these cases. Where do you see the laws needing to be changed moving forward, Angel?
It's so difficult because the law is always going to catch up to what behavior is. The law is always going to be following behind what people are doing. This is why you now have kind of laws about social media stalking and revenge porn. These are things that existed, and then the law is trying to catch up with these events and create an eventuality for them. But by the next time, there's something new. Right. And so you want to make sure that within the confines of the laws that we do have and what the lawmakers are doing, you do the best you can to support the people who are strong enough to come forward and actually try to preserve their rights and the rights of other people. I always tell people that, when you come in my office, you took the strongest step possible by reaching out for help. A lot of people will accept what's happening to them and take it as just, this is a part of the job, or this is the industry, or if I want to go ahead, I have to accept this behavior and having things thrown at me. And the first step of saying, you know what, I'm not going to accept this, I'm not going to accept it for me, and I'm not going to accept it on behalf of a coworker, or it's a man saying, I'm not going to accept women be talked about like this in the workplace, or I'm not going to accept my child being treated as a liability at work as opposed to a blessing. Those are the people that are always just the most strong to me, that come forward and say, no more. And there are laws on the books. They're not perfect, but there are laws that help protect people that come forward and the whistleblowers and things like that. You want to make sure that as the attorney, you're responsive to whatever their needs are. It may not necessarily be the right solution for that person to file a lawsuit. It is very traumatizing. You have to be prepared for what litigation will bring, and depending on the defendant, they will go scorched earth on you and try to burn you. And you just have to make sure that if that's the step that you want to take, you're prepared for it. But sometimes there are other avenues to resolve things that don't necessarily include litigation. Sometimes it can include amelioration and just stopping that behavior from moving forward. And so it just really depends on what the institution is willing to do, whether they're supporting that person that is being the harasser, whether they're willing to say, we didn't know this person was taking away your gigs because you were pregnant and they thought you didn't want to travel. There's been a lot of things like that where people make assumptions about who you are and what your business is based on what they see. And once you get to know the person, and this is why relationship is so important in relationship building, once you get to know the person, you know what their business is and what they want to do and what they can achieve. And the business and the employee can work together to help them achieve their goals so everybody can succeed, rather than thinking, oh, this person can't do it because they're in a wheelchair, or this person can't do it because they have kids at home, they don't want to travel.
Right, no,
it's
absolutely.
assumptions.
So we're going to move on to a few of the questions that social media asked. And I was going to read it just so I make sure I get it correct. How has being a minority played a role in your approach to your business? So we're going to start. Would you like to take that one?
I'll take it. Well, LA as a whole is a diverse market. There's a strong presence of Black, Latino, Asian realtors, and they're successful, and there's a lot of them. But however, if you look at the ultra high-end and prime areas, these 10, 20, 30, $40 million houses, there's no Black faces attached to those sellers or buyers. And I wanted to know why, and I wanted to know how I could get there. Like, that's my goal. I want to be the best. I want to be on top. I can do this. That's why I moved up here from Orange County to LA from Orange County to sell to the celebrities, because I speak that language. I can do it. So as a minority, to answer the question, when you first start out, your mindset is, oh man, I'm different. Are they going to like me? Am I going to fit in? Are they going to want to work with me? And the place you need to come from is, I know I'm different. I'm proud that I'm different. I'm proud who I am. Here's why I'm special, and here's why you're making a mistake if you don't work with me. And when you can get to that place where you have to think about those answers to those questions and answer them and say them with conviction to a seller or a client in front of you, that's the place you need to come from. So being a minority for me has given me strength and given me a reason to be better at what I do and respect my craft even more.
And I can answer that. Yeah, it's amazing. I can answer that as a woman. Like I said, when I started in the 90s, I just said, that it was technology. There were no women in technology at all. I mean, think about it. Windows 95, that's really what started it, right? So I got in about 96. I remember the first job that I had, top producer, we IPO'd with Realtor.com. I was specifically told on the phone from the guy in Canada, he had 400 applicants. He said, we will not hire women. We will not do that. I said, hey, I just got you to stay on the phone, didn't I? Take the meeting with me. So when they came in, I fought to get hired, okay? And it's, you had to scratch and claw to get up of everything you do. So you have to work twice as hard to get in. And I was so young at that time, in my 20s out of college, I just didn't know any way that you had to fight and go on. And it was all male dominated. Everything was male dominated. So it was getting into that industry and then becoming a leader in the industry as a broker and running the real estate companies. There wasn't a lot of women in what I was doing at all. So now you have a lot of, you'd have office managers as women and so forth. So it's tough. It's hard. And, you're looked at differently. And, short little blonde. I remember I would come in and people would say, oh, you here to sell us jewelry? Okay. No, honey, I'm not. and then boom, the voice comes out, you know. And so then, you know, you have to dominate in a different way of what you do. And it's now being part of the Woman Up organization with California Association of Realtors. I've had the great honor and privilege to be a wave maker with them, and I just emceed our event where we're now just over about 500 people. And it's amazing to see all the women in the industry that have had similar stories of what I've had, and now it's just what you just said, Angel. We're now coming around as an industry where there is, you know, it's women make up 60% of our industry, but only there's a fraction that is only at the leadership. That's it. It's all male dominated. So we all have gotten together. We're taking it nationwide with the Women Up movement, and we all have very similar stories. And now we have a safe place to lift each other up and support each other. And that's why I love what you're doing, because it's the same thing. We're all doing it together in this industry. It's time for a change, baby. 2020, it's the golden years. It's the golden age, just like the roaring 20s. And women, we're going to dominate it, girl.
Now do you see why I said you're going to love her at the if you don't know her, you're going to love her, 100%.
I never said that.
That's right. Beth, do you want to take that question? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. That triggered a thought for me when you asked the question. I'm sure this has happened to you. Like, you walk into the courtroom and somebody says, "Oh, the court reporter, you can set up right here."
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
All the
That's not
time.
even the best one. That happens often. Not so often. I walk into the courtroom and they get, defendants need to wait for their counsel, so make sure you stand behind the gallery. Yeah, so again, you can't control how people see you, but you have to be able to know who you are when you walk into the room. So you can say, "Oh, I know where defendants stand. I'm counsel," right? And then you just keep walking and they just, and they feel, they made a mistake. They made a generalization based on whatever, was in their mind, and maybe it's based on their experience or just based on their ignorance. I don't really care why you made the mistake. I'm here today to tell you who I am, right? That's what it is. And so it's just knowing who you are and walking into the room and saying, "I know what I'm here to do, and let me show you why I'm the person you need. Let me show you why you want to work with me. Let me show you why you want to go to lunch with me," right? I just want those flowers, but that's I think what being a minority and being a woman and being a woman, being a black woman in Los Angeles will kind of teach you, is that people will underestimate you because they look at you and they go, "Okay, you're in a box, right? You're in a box." Or sometimes people ask the question, well, where are you from? Or where are you really from? You speak English really well.
Wow.
That kind of thing, it will happen sometimes. And so you just want to make sure that you know who you are, so that way when you encounter that, it's not going to stop you.
Well, and I think just for you and I, forging a relationship, I was saying this, that I went to a women's summit, and 2 African American women said to me, what's interesting is we never ask white women to be on our panel. And it was an interest, it's like the river. So I said, well, you know what? We got to just stop right now. We got to ask each other. We got to join each other. We got to join forces. Sometimes it may be uncomfortable, but, let's forge ahead and let's make the relationships. And, that is, we're here. We're sitting next to each other. Yeah. So, Beth, do you want to answer as well, please?
I think my experience is similar. They ask all the time, if you're the secretary, I'd get the coffee. I'm sure that's true in any industry. And I think it's just important in everything we do to walk in and be the most prepared one in the room. So I don't think it matters if you're walking into a courtroom, if you're walking into sell a listing. You want to be the one that has the information that they need. So just to give an example, I was in court one time and I was pregnant with one of my children. And, it was a room full of men out there and me. And the judge asked me if I was having twins. And I was not. And I was like, yes. And that, let's just get on with the argument, right? So they want to comment on what you're wearing. They want to comment on how you look. It's some belly on a man. They're not going to ask him if he ate too much, right? So, it's just, but you just you let it roll off and you show that you're the most prepared one in the room.
And this is a woman who has 5 children, so let me just tell you.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that's why when people say to me, "Oh, I'm too busy," I'm like, "Really? Really?" if, Beth shows up, I show up, I have 4 kids too, if we can do it, I'm pretty sure you can. Lastly, would you like to answer that?
My opinion on being a woman?
Yeah, a minority.
So the only thing I'd say is I'm an auctioneer. I've been an auctioneer for 35 years. In our business back home in Melbourne, we had 40 staff. I think there's 1 or 2 female auctioneers in the whole town, and I had 9 in my office at one stage, female auctioneers. So, and imagine a crowd in Melbourne, you get 100 people in an auction. I would walk out with one of the ladies next to me. They'd be looking at me to start the auction, and she would start it, and the crowd would look at me really weird. But when we had a business with 7 or 8 women doing auctions, we killed it, absolutely killed it. So,
but see, that's what it takes. It is to make that difference at even higher up as well. When you are hiring, is to make a choice to just take a chance on somebody. Now men and women, I think, are opening themselves up to saying, hey, we can work with each other, hire each other. Oh, sorry, somebody's trying to. Or somebody in the back was trying to. You can come in. It's okay.
But Glenn, if without strong men like you, we can't go to the next level.
Exactly,
And,
I
and,
agree.
And without that
You have
support
to-
system, you can't do it.
And you have to make that choice to hire them. That's the difference. So let's do one business question too. Okay, top 2 things that you would say, and we're going to start with real estate because I think predominantly we have real estate here. Give me your top 2, whether it's an app or social media. What helps you grow your business the most?
Social media, I mean, that's absolutely one. But a contact management system. If you don't have a CRM, then how are you doing business? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. It's like getting in a car, not having GPS, arriving in a new state, not knowing where you're going. Good luck. We don't have Thomas guides anymore. Did I age myself?
I remember those.
So, yeah, you got to have that.
Yeah. Okay. And what would you say, Alexander?
This is a tough one because there's just so many different things we all do to get that next deal. I think I'll go with attitude. When I walk out of my house, I'm on. Like when I leave home, I got a job to do, and that's find opportunities to meet clients, convert them to prospects. Meet prospects, convert them to clients, and then close them, get a deal out of it some way. So after I've been in the business for a while, I realized that confidence goes a long way. And if you can say things with confidence, people will believe you. I truly believe I'm the best at what I do. That's not an ego thing. That's a livelihood thing. I got to feed my family thing, and that's going to get me what I need. So yeah, when I meet sellers, I am the best. From the staging to the photos to the showings to the escrow to the negotiations to getting through an escrow to dealing with emotions, and sometimes you're a marriage counselor. Like we see it all in real estate. Like you're going through it all, and people sell because of death, divorce. Like you're going through an emotional sale on top of life stuff. So it gets tricky sometimes. So you got to be confident and handle it that way and make people trust you. So nobody's going to really truly believe in you unless you believe in yourself. And confidence to everybody out there who's trying to get deals or meet clients, be confident. Know what you're talking about. If you're a new agent, have 5 houses that you know really, really well. 5 houses that you love and you're passionate about. That way when you're at the store or you're in line or at Starbucks and you meet somebody, you start talking with them, you have 5 houses that you can just throw in. Like when I meet somebody, they know I do real estate within 30 seconds. Like I bring it up now. Before I used to just hope that they wanted to talk and I was gun shy, but now I'm in your face and you're either real or you're not. And confidence goes a long way. So be confident.
Absolutely. Glenn, do you have any?
Look, I got to LA in February, so I don't know one single person. I know my business, but I don't know person. I don't even know real estate very well, so I thought, okay, go in partnership with people that are smarter than you. That wasn't hard, so I got with Deanna and Alex and a couple other people that are partners that are actually smarter than me, and that was one of the things, hire people that know more about real estate here than I do, which is not that difficult. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to dress the part. I just look like I know what I'm doing, so I thought I'll just put a suit and tie. And every morning I walk to work, and I stop at every bank, doctor, lawyer, shop, say hello to the owner, and I walk home. I just do it. I just old-fashioned hustle. Just walk in, I walk home.
And it works.
It works.
Good for you.
I thought you said technology tools. Is that not what the question
Well, you know, or technology.
Direction.
I said I did say I said any two. It could be your personal or yes, your technology, but it's okay. She has one. Angel has one. She wants to share.
It's not really it's a skill, not a tool, but I would say just being generous. And not necessarily being generous, spending money on people and sending them flowers all the time, which is wonderful. But maybe it's just, you know what? Maybe it's time.
Yes.
Maybe it's, I have 10 minutes to talk to you and tell you if this is the case or not. And even if it's not a case, I'm going to direct you to somebody who can help you. I'm going to give you the number of a really great therapist you need to call and help, just work it out. If it's a case that comes in and maybe it's a trade secret case, maybe that's not for me. I know somebody who can take that case.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely important.
I just think being generous and thinking about other people first.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Beth, do you have anything?
I just would echo the women holding up women. I think that, and men holding up women, but I think even just being here and being part of this, it's really amazing, and it's really amazing what you're accomplishing here. Because a lot of you I know are competitors, but I think that the idea that, look, I can't handle that, or there's someone that I want to refer you to is so important in every industry. And so I applaud you for doing this.
Thank you. Well, the realtors here, most of the deals that we get from these events are that you are working with each other, because as you all know, there's 10 of you have put in an offer, but the fact that you met here is what helps you get that solidified. Or that we talked about this before, there's an agent in Malibu who doesn't necessarily want to drive to Beverly Hills, which we all know, and vice versa. So the unions there have really helped each other. Not to mention, a lot of people have met here and they've joined teams, whereas maybe they were a solo before, and they've really enjoyed this. Oh, see, somebody's clapping. Yeah.
You can't be in this industry and think that the other agent is a competitor. Then don't be in our industry, because we are each other's clients. Okay? Without one another, we can't do what we do. Yeah. And we have to get along, and you never know where you're going to be working next. Yep. That's one thing you know. You could be working for somebody right now. Tomorrow you're working with a guy, that was your assistant that is hiring you today. Yeah. So never underestimate anyone, and be gracious, and that's it. And be kind to people, and that will take you in your career.
Absolutely, absolutely. How are we on time? What's the time? All right. So we have our last question, and then we're going to have Jessica Barth come up here, and we're going to talk about our charity really quick. But so to this point, we all are in a day job, much like myself as well. Look, I love my job. Yes, I did start out in the entertainment industry, as we all know why I left. I love the people that I work with. I work with such fabulous realtors, lawyers as well. But, look, I have to have more in my life, and I do believe that helping other people, much like the reason I put this whole event on, is because in giving, just like you're saying, in being generous, that more comes back to you. And it's not, I don't need it, like as far as it's not a requirement, but I just feel that energy when you're giving and putting forth, that it does come back to you. So that, I hope, is like the legacy that I would leave to my children as well, is that my mother always taught me, you got to volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. And she made sure I got that memo. And I help a lot of agents, even young agents starting out. So what would you say is the legacy that you're hoping to leave?
I'm a third-time cancer survivor, and I'm still on my journey. And I call my agents my kids, because breast cancer took that ability away from me to have children. And I think that your life is very different when you know that my longevity isn't going to be what your longevity is going to be. So I'm not in remission, and I just, I don't know what comes next. And you have to live every day in a different way. And if I could go back to my younger self as a young girl getting into the industry, it has changed. And I think Beth, Angel, you guys may kind of relate to this a little bit. Don't be so trusting with people at the beginning when you talk to them at work. Wait, take a beat, fill it out. Who is this person? There are good people in the world, and there are bad people in the world. Are you married to a good person, or are you married to a bad person? Because that marriage decision is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make in your life. And in addition to that, who you work with, never underestimate the power of your environment. Because if you're in a dog-eat world and people are there to take you down and they're not good people, get away. Life is too short. Get around people that love you, that support you, that care about you. And if they can't raise you up when you have a high day or let you cry, because honey, there is crying in real estate. They used to say it wasn't, and yes, there is. So you know what? It's okay. You feel like crying? Cry. My daddy always gave me the best advice. When you're having a bad day, just go to bed. Because tomorrow is a gift and it's a new day. And get up and do your spiritual studies in the morning, man. Do your spiritual studies in the morning. Take care of you. Eat right. Watch these documentaries on what you have to eat. It's everything. Eating is like a drug. And that is critical to your mindset and how you can live as a healthy person in this world. And for God's sakes, work out and exercise and do this with your family and check in with your children. What's going on? When's the last time you've talked to your sister that you haven't seen in a long time? Don't go away without saying, I love you. Say it. Feel it. That's it.
Thank you, Jen. That's a lot of great advice.
Yeah,
I love you too.
You follow that.
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
You better sing.
you know I can. I think it's important to always remember the why and what we're doing. We all work hard, we're all busy, we all want to be successful, but what's it all for, at the end of the day? For me, I'm the only shot my immediate family and all my family has at having any sort of financial security. Like, my mom's older, my dad's older, my brother's not gonna get where he wants to be. Like, I'm it. Like, if we're gonna have that financial security and that breath of fresh air someday, it's because of me. So for my legacy, I just want to lay the groundwork and the foundation for my daughter and all my future kids to have opportunities to be successful. You can't protect your kids from the world, but you can sure prepare them. And that's all I want to do, is give them opportunities that I didn't have, that they can go on and live happy lives and be successful with for generations to come.
Beth.
I think I'm just lucky enough, frankly, to be part of Louisette's Me Too legacy. I've met several different people, both men and women, who can't name names, but in the context of a conference room say, we wouldn't have been able to talk about this had people not come out against Harvey Weinstein, had there not been a Me Too movement. And really, frankly, it's not just these women, it's everyone picking it up, all women picking it up on social media and being able to name names and or even if not, be able to share their experiences. So I just think we've built a legacy that's going to change the world for our children.
I sure as hell hope so, actually. Angel?
I guess in thinking about legacy, it seems like such a long way off, but it actually may not be a long way off. And that's some assumptions that we make sometimes about how much time we do have. And, nobody ever knows, really, when you have, no time left. And so what I would say is two things. Be authentic, be yourself. Life is too short, and it's too painful to be somebody else and wear that mask for the rest of your life. I have a lot of clients that are wearing a mask at work, and then they come in and they drop it, and it is literally visible how painful it is for them to either still be in the closet or whatever that is. Whatever your truth is, own that, live that, be that. If your workplace is not supportive, find a new job. Find a new job. You can do it.
I'm a lawyer here.
There's lots of jobs. Find something that speaks to you. The second thing I would say is, while you're being authentic, make sure, like my goal at least anyway, is to be the same person that my kids know, that my husband knows, that my mom knows, that my clients know, that my friends know. Be consistent and be true to yourself. I don't ever want anybody at my funeral to hear me described by somebody in a way and be surprised about what they heard, or surprised about the type of person or type of things that I did. I stand up for other people. That's what I do. That's what I do at work. That's what I try to do in my personal life. That's why I'm here and happy to be here on this panel with you. Thank you for having me. And that's my advice.
All right, Glenn, you're last, and then we're going to have Jessica Barth come up here, please.
Well, there's a few things there. Strangely enough, I walk to work with coins in my pocket because I always walk past all the parking meters that expire, and I've done this for years, and I've put my coins in so that people don't get tickets. I've done that for decades. Stupid, but anyway, I do it. I've always done it, and if your meter's red, I will come and fix it for you. I'm the meter maid, right?
We love that,
It's
right?
my good
Yeah.
thing forward. But if you ask me of my legacy, it's very simple. I have 5 children. My daughter over there who virtually runs my life, amazing.
Brooke.
And I have 4 boys, and I've been writing goals with my children since they were 8, so fully typed out a whole page of goals. And I do it every year with them, one-on-one. And so the 4 boys, the first thing on the top of their list, you know it, it's respect for women. That's the very first thing from the age of 8 to 20. So what do I want to leave? I want to leave 4 great men and a daughter without a boyfriend. And I'll be very, very happy. But really,
Every parent here understands that, yes.
look, I've been in real estate 36 years. I don't actually never have liked houses at all. Don't like houses now. People, a legacy is whatever bringing up 5 young children, a happy wife, I've done my job. I can go to God.
Absolutely, absolutely.